Hello and welcome to today's FatTel Daily video. Today I'm joined by our geologist and exploration in the mining sector expert, James Cooper. Welcome, James.
G'day, Woody. Good to be back again.
Yeah, mate. And in today's piece, you are basically pondering about the future of mining. Now, there's been lots of talk about mining asteroids. There's been lots of talk about mining deep under the sea. None of those, you say, seem, although they could be part of the future in some capacity, none of those is going to be imminent or viable. Asteroid mining for its own, obviously, like you said in your piece, like we haven't put a man on the moon in 60 years. It's not going to be happening anytime soon if it does. And the real deep sea mining is actually pretty harmful for all manner of number of reasons, particularly the environment, right? And the whole point is to make the world cleaner and all that sort of stuff. But you say mining's going in another direction. Do you want to just maybe give us an update on that, and then we can rip into it?
Yeah, sure. So I guess the premise, so it comes back to mining mineral supply. So where's the next generation of minerals going to come from? So there's a big concern that deposits, so near surface deposits, are really getting depleted. So these existing deposits, they're falling in grades. So for every ton of rock mined, there's less metal that the miners are able to extract from that ton of rock. So that's leading a lot of these sort of discussions on things like asteroid mining or deep sea mining, which are pretty far-flung ideas, which would have really been probably laughed at 10 years ago. But just with the sort of mineral scarcity issues, I think they're really being presented as maybe an actual solution. But in terms of what I see, I probably don't think that asteroid mining or deep sea mining, these types of things, are really going to be tangible solutions for the sort of mineral scarcity problems that we see. I think what we'll probably see is more of a miners going deeper underground. So looking at deposits, not these surface deposits, which can be mined through open cut mining. So if you're not familiar with that, that's just like these big giant holes that get dug in the ground. What we could see is maybe a sort of return of the past. So these kind of deeper underground deposits like tunnels and shafts and adits, which chase these high grade veins or mineralized seams deep below the ground. And what I mentioned in today's piece is it's kind of ironic because it's going back to how mining was done 100 or 200 years ago if we're going to be tapping into these deep underground deposits. So you've got this real futuristic look at space mining and deep sea mining, but ironically we could actually just go back to what we did a couple of hundred years ago. So it's obviously it will look a little bit different. But
I'm actually I'm not many people know this. I'm half Welsh, and my mum's side they're a big mining. That's what they all did in the Welsh valleys, right? Yeah. They were all coal miners. Yeah. And I remember my granddad, my Bamps, would often tell stories of, he was down the pits when he was 14, but you could getting in lifts, you shut the door and you go deep underground and you're pulling out coal, obviously, but we're talking about different types of very specific rare earths or different types of minerals, right, James?
Yeah, so traditionally underground mining has looked more at precious metals like gold, platinum, because you've got higher value metals, so you can justify the extra costs for doing these deep underground mines. But I think increasingly, so these near surface deposits are getting harder to find. Yeah. So I think you're going to see things like copper and zinc and coal, all these different minerals go deeper underground for those reasons.
So beyond falling grades, what other economic or technological factors do you see driving that trend potentially?
Well, that's the main issue. So just the availability of metals closer to surface. So it was really a sort of revolution, this open pit mining because it saved costs. Miners could extract low grade ore from surface, but these deposits are sort of becoming harder to find. So we do know that there's deeper deposits below the surface, which are actually higher grade, but just because they're harder to access and the expense to do so is really really sort of why the miners have favoured these sort of big open cut, just like big holes in the ground. So it could actually, from a sort of environmental standpoint too, it could actually be more beneficial to sort of go deeper underground, just because it leaves less of a scar on the landscape. So I just see that's probably where the industry is going. It's just the most logical next step for the next sort of deposits to be accessed.
You one of the takeaways in your piece is potentially not is it, as a way to invest for this trend is not necessarily going direct to the miner, but mining services companies that might benefit from the trend too. And you say that, and that's regardless of which commodities perform well. Can you explain why that is?
Yeah, sure. So if you're looking to sort of tap into maybe this longer term trend of mines shifting underground, what makes sense is to look at these service plays. So mining service companies, which are already established underground mining contractors. So they already understand that business. They already have clients all around the world, and we recommended one for the diggers and drillers just recently. So this is a really good, I think, way to play that sort of future trend.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you say with mining service plays. So the beauty of these companies is that you're not tied to a specific commodity. So let's say gold is doing really well in 2024. We don't know if it's going to do well in 25. But the beauty of a service play is that they're diversified. So they're exposed to different commodities, so copper, zinc, base metals, precious metals. So whatever commodity might be doing well, a mining service play is probably exposed to that. So it's good from that standpoint, but also good from a standpoint if you think commodities broadly. So a bull market in commodities is perhaps emerging. So service plays will do even better in that type of environment.
You said that the transition from open cut to underground mining will require significant expertise and equipment changes. How quickly do you see this shift occurring, and what early indicators should investors watch for?
Yeah, so back to your point, what you said about your grandpa in the UK. So I think there probably be a big change. I think there'll be a lot more automation, especially if we're going really deep.
Yeah.
And we're talking 800, even a kilometre below the surface. So I think you'll see more automated trucks, more automated machinery, just sort of working underground. And it's usually pretty tough conditions, being that deep below the surface, usually the heat. So there's a lot of air conditioning required, and that just adds to the expense. So by not having to send people down to these deep underground mines, I think that will potentially save costs, and it probably gives it that sort of more futuristic aspect as well. But
Yeah, because I bet one thing, it won't be like my Bamps at 14 going down, where he was literally in a crevice with a pickaxe at the coalface. He was literally, and there was hundreds of them going. That's not. It probably won't be looking like that, will it? I'd have thought.
no, so a lot of automation, maybe some AI integration as well. So finding where to mine using cameras. So probably a lot less hands on, as it's traditionally been for underground mining.
And just finally, you mentioned your experience as an exploration geologist has informed your view on the difficulty of finding new discoveries. What characteristics do you look for in mining services companies that might give them a particular competitive advantage in underground mining compared to other, say one of the other of their competitors?
Yeah, so the ASX has a few options for
Yep.
so mining services broadly, and going to the underground service contracting is even more specific. And there's a few options on the ASX. So one of the benefits we do have from Australia is that because mining is such an integral part of our economy, that we've kind of have a sort of some of the global leaders in mining service stocks. So that just means these companies, which start in Australia, are also have big clients overseas. So they have an international presence. So I would be looking at the early movers. So the companies, the biggest sort of companies which are already in underground mining, I think they'll continue to sort of capture a larger share as more deposits go deeper and more mining companies require these service plays to essentially mine the ore for them. So
Yeah, right.
I think look for the bigger companies.
Cool. All right, we'll leave it there, James. For those watching, you can check out James's Fat Tail Daily today. The link's below. And within that article, you'll also find a really specific presentation on 4 opportunities that you can look at if you're interested in exploring investment ideas a bit further in this sector. Lovely. We'll leave it there, mate. And I'll be in touch again next week. Thank you.
Cheers, Woody. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Fat Tail Daily. If you're ready to take a new approach to building wealth, avoiding the same old mainstream ideas and investigating new market trends, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you don't miss a single video. And as a thank you, we've got a free report just for you. It is packed with actionable insights that show you how to capitalize on an alternative investment idea that you'll unlikely find anywhere else. You can download it right now by clicking on the link in the description below. So, if you're ready to discover strategies that the traditional market just doesn't offer, grab your free report. Until next time.